here today with internationally best-selling author George R.R. Martin to talk about his first children's book, The Ice Dragon. Tell us about your latest book.
It's a fantasy novel, much like the work that I'm best known for these days, about a young girl in a medieval world who befriends an ice dragon, which is the reverse of a normal dragon. It's the dragons that we're all familiar with, of course, from folklore, are creatures of fire who breathe flame. And the ice dragon is actually a creature made entirely of ice that breathes freezing cold into the world. As far as I know, I was the first one to create such a creature, so it's my own little contribution to the world of fantasy and myth.
What drew you to finally put out a children's book? Why now?
I was living in Dubuque, Iowa at the time. It was freezing, so somehow that put me in mind, and I got this idea for the ice dragon. The theme followed and fell together, and I sat down and I wrote the story in a couple of weeks. I thought it was one of the best stories I had done at that point. Paris, my lady, always said to me, you know, that story of yours would make a wonderful children's book. I looked at it and said, you know, you're right. I seem to have accidentally written a children's book without even knowing about it. So it evolved as a children's book, some 20 years after it was first published as an obscure little short story. What's great about the new edition coming out, of course, it's illustrated by Yvonne Gilbert. So my contribution is really only half of what you get. Yvonne has really brought the characters and the ice dragon and Adara and her brother and sister and family and her whole world to life with her marvelous illustrations.
What is the message that you want children to take away from the ice dragon?
You know, symbolically, we've always used ice to represent coldness and distance emotionally in human beings. It's a very negative thing, where we say someone is a cold person. That's not a good thing. And I wanted to reverse that a little, but not entirely. That's the Adara, who is the little girl who is the hero of this, is a reserved child. Her mother died in childbirth, and as a result, that death has come between her and her father. So there's this sort of strange emotional relationship. As much as he wants to love her, he is all too aware that because of her, his wife has died. And so she grows up kind of a little solitary, a little cold, and perhaps that's what draws the ice dragon to her. But the message, to the extent that there is a message, is one about love and family.
The Ice Dragon is a thrilling and beautifully illustrated tale of love, courage, and timeless magic, an unforgettable story about a girl and the ice dragon who saves her world.